Hey guys, how's it going? Today is going to be a little bit of a different video. I'm not going to be doing a podcast today. I just actually wanted to talk a little bit about how I do my podcast because I've received some questions about how I do it. And so I wanted to get into that. First things first, for my podcast, what I do in the initial stages of a new episode is that I will write a script. So some of these scripts can be a pretty long form script where it takes me a few hours to write these scripts, and basically I'm just typing up stuff that comes to my mind, and then I'll go back and do some proofreading, change up some words, and those take quite a bit to do. Some of my videos I don't use a script at all, and I actually just go off of the top of my head. And then there are also some other scripts where it's something as simple as a few bullet points. Yeah, I was gonna say bulletin points. A few. So it's just a few bullet points. And so I go off of that. Like I'll have 4 or 3 bullet points, and then it's just a few words or just like one sentence, and then I'll just expand upon that bullet point. So scripting, you guys might be surprised that scripting is part of the process. But for solo podcasting, I think most solo podcasters, they have scripts, and they can be pretty long and you read them word for word, or they're just a few bullet points or something and you just expand upon it. So for me, I have read a few scripts that I did read word for word, just about. I'll change a couple things here and there because as I'm reading, I'll come up with stuff in the middle of recording, and then I'll change a few words just because I think it flows better. And some of my earlier videos, like my first and second podcast episodes, those were completely free form, no script, no nothing. And you can tell that there's a big difference. It's like night and day when you have a script and when you are just going off the top of your head. And having a script is really important because scripts, there's a format to it, right? Just with like a story. So you have your intro, beginning, middle, and conclusion. And everything just flows a lot better when you have an idea of where your podcast is going to be going throughout the episode. It's just easier to keep track of stuff that way rather than just going off the top of your head. But I think some of the best episodes come from just going off of like what, like what's in here rather than what's on here. So going forward, equipment wise, guys, my equipment, it's not expensive by any means, and it's not crazy good. I use, for my recording, I use this little tiny mic here, this little microphone. It plugs into the lightning port of my iPhone, and it's pretty cool. So this is called what is it called? So this is from a brand called Saramonic, I think. Yeah, Saramonic. And they call it a smart mic. And this thing's pretty cool. The only downside that I have, or that this thing has, is that I have to use it pretty close to my mouth. So my phone's like right next to my face when I'm doing my podcast. And this little tiny thing catches a lot of my spit. And I know you guys can tell that it does. And I don't really like that, but I try to speak in a way where there's not a lot of saliva moving around in my mouth. So I try my best with that. So I do have a tripod too with my equipment, a tripod and an O-ring, LED O-ring light, just for illumination. Well, right now I'm using it, but when I'm doing my podcast episodes, I don't use my light at all, because obviously you guys can't see me, and so it's not a video, so you guys don't need to see me clearly. During the recording process, you guys don't really see it at all, but I do make a lot of mistakes during during recording, and it gets pretty bad sometimes. So the nice thing about having a script is that when you mess something up, you can go back and then you can, so like I'll make a mistake, right? And I'm like, damn. And I'll just pause for a few seconds, like 5 to 10 seconds. And the reason why I pause for 5 to 10 seconds is because in post-production, it gives me time to make my edits, and it lets it flow a lot smoother. So I'll make a mistake, right? And say I wanted to reread something because it didn't come out naturally, or the tone just wasn't right, or I mispronounced a word. I would just pause for 10 seconds and then I reread it. So when I'm in post-production, I'll cut out the mistake, and then I'll stitch the last good audio with the one that I reread, and then those 10 seconds that I was quiet before I reread my script, it allows me to cut like 8 seconds of the 10-second pause and then stitch the 2 pieces of audio together, so it just sounds more natural that way. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I'm really bad at explaining stuff, so I apologize. And then also, like, going back to reading my scripts and talking about how it doesn't really come out right. One of the hardest parts about doing a solo podcast is that, in a sense, I'm kind of talking to myself, but then again, I'm not, because I'm actually talking to you guys. So I try to read my scripts in a way that makes you guys feel like you guys are in a conversation with me, and it just helps a podcaster better connect with their audience, and that's you guys. So once I'm done recording everything, I'll go into post-production, and then, so the way that I do my post-production is, again, guys, I don't use anything fancy. So I record on my iPhone 12 Pro Max. It's a mouthful, 12 Pro Max. Anyways, so I just use my phone. Then I'll go into an app called iMovie that comes with iPhones. I'll go in there, I'll upload my video onto there, and then that's when I do like my cuts and my restitching for my audio. And then I'll also add in like my background, which is the photo of me and the title Let's Slam Podcast. So then that's where I do all that stuff. So once I get to a point that the audio is in a good place and I've stitched everything together and it flows very nicely, then I'll save that video, upload it into my photo album, go into an app called Audio Editor, and then I'll upload the video that I just made into Audio Editor, and Audio Editor will extract that audio from my new video. And then that's when I can start doing all the mixing and stuff like that, and all the cool editing that I do in there. Well, it's not cool, but it's like really simple stuff. And so once I'm happy with the edits that I made in Audio Editor, I will save it, and then I will upload I'll export the same thing, whatever. I'll export the audio that I just edited back into iMovie, and then I'll go into iMovie and then upload the file from Audio Editor and then attach it to the video that I made earlier that I was talking about. So then now I have 2 different sets of audio in that video. One's the old one, and then one's the edited one. So then I'll delete the old one, and I'll leave the new one in there. Totally unintentional. I'll leave the new one in there, so then you guys have the final product. and then I just save the video again, and then I'll have to upload it again into my photo album with the edited audio, and then I'll go into YouTube and I'll upload. Press a little plus sign right there and get my podcast uploaded there. So, you guys are probably wondering like what I'm doing over here, but you guys probably already figured out that it's just my laptop. So, ding ding. See, this is what I'm talking about. I have 2 bullet points, and that's all I have. And these 2 bullet points got me to a 11-minute video already. So, what it says. So the first bullet point says intro. It's something as simple as that. And then the second one says how I do my podcast, writing a script, freeform, equipment, mistakes, post-production. And that's it. So going back to scripting, it can be something as simple as this. And then you just really expand upon that one bullet point. So that's pretty much about it. There's not really too much to it that I do. I am hoping to get better equipment soon, but my finances are going to other priorities right now. So I make do with what I have, and that's okay. And I think right now I'm doing pretty well. The first 4 episodes, I didn't do anything much with the audio at all. But the 5th episode, I did a lot of editing to the audio finally. And I think it came out amazing. So if you guys can let me know, if you guys can tell the difference between like episode 4 and my newest one, episode 5, please let me know, and let me know if you guys like it or not. So that's it. And thanks for watching this vlog. Thanks for my subscribers. Like, you guys are awesome. So I think I'm up to 17 subscribers now. And I think they're all from my friends list too. So I haven't really done anything yet to really get myself out there. But I'm just really happy with the audience that I have now. And that's like with friends and family, and that's okay. Because typically when you start getting fans, they're going to be your friends and family first. So, yeah, I will see you guys on the next episode. Well, it's not really an episode, but you get what I mean. I'll see you guys on the next episode of the Let's Snap podcast. We're just going to keep it, whatever. And thanks for watching.